Let's go ahead and preview this year's free agent quarterback class. Obviously, the belle of the ball, if you can even really call him that. Not that I think that there's going to be a huge competition for his services, at least serious competition. We're talking about Sam Darnold, and there will be teams interested. Right now, the Raiders are kind of the hot team. Without question, though, he is the best cornerback that is available via free agency, and this list does not include quarterbacks that may be cut. So Kirk Cousins, we might see what happened with Russell Wilson last year, happened this year with Kirk Cousins, but Sam Darnold, far and wide, we saw what his ceiling was, and it is a pretty high ceiling, to be fair. We also saw his limitations come to life against both the Rams and the Lions. Both of those last 2 weeks games, both week 18 and the wild card round. But in the right offense with good weapons, he can be a threat. And that is something that we can't necessarily say about the rest of the quarterback class. With how weak this is, that's the reason why maybe we see more quarterbacks go in the first round. Shedeur Sanders is my number one quarterback. He scares the daylights out of me, though. Cam Ward, I have a few steps below him. After that, Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, I have almost as a tie. It's not a great quarterback class, but I think we're going to see guys overdrafted. Why? Because the rest of this list is super uninspiring. Sam Darnold showed that he should be a starting quarterback. Is he going to be that shortlist franchise guy? I don't ever think that's the case. I don't. But in the right scheme, he can be a threat. He can be a Pro Bowl quarterback like we saw this year. Carrying on, we have a quarterback that I am actually super enamored with, and that is Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, we see... let's skip ahead to Justin Fields because he's going to be on this list. Justin Fields, I've never seen a quarterback get pampered the way Justin Fields has. 4 years into his career, we're still saying, oh, just give him some time to develop. What? What have we seen from Justin Fields? That he's athletic and fast. We have not seen accuracy. We've seen a deer in the headlights whenever he receives pressure. He bails out of the pocket too fast. He's bad at timing throws. I think anybody to give him any substantial contract would be a joke. I don't think Pittsburgh should look to bring him back. Russell Wilson, for all of his flaws, was miles and miles ahead of Justin Fields. Zach Wilson, a quarterback also from that draft class who actually overtook Justin Fields. Remember, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, they were 1A and 1B since high school. However, Zach Wilson overtook him after that magical BYU COVID year. Wilson, awful situation in New York, spends last year learning under Sean Payton, has Jarrett Stidham. We're going to talk about him later. If I'm a team and I'm taking a flyer on a quarterback, it's not Justin Fields, it's Zach Wilson. I'm taking Zach Wilson, who learned under a Hall of Fame offensive mind like Sean Payton, over Justin Fields, who has learned from Arthur Smith and the master class of offense that has been Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers since the end of the Killer Bees. No thank you. Trey Lance, the other quarterback from that draft class that we were just speaking of, same thing. I get it. He's still super young. He's not even 25 yet, which is just insane. The guy has played more safety at this point in his career than quarterback, and I'm talking going back to high school. With that said, I'm not devoting anything to him. We all saw last year's preseason. It's not happening. Jacoby Brissett, maybe he just stays in New England. Josh McDaniels is back. He has experience working in the McDaniels offense. It's going to be interesting. I think Jacoby is good enough to be that bridge quarterback spot starter. But maybe it's time for him to just settle in to New England. Definitely going to be... Jacoby's the ideal backup, and there's going to be a couple of these guys who are the ideal backups. Taylor Heinicke, I would say, is not one of them, and the reason is his ceiling is a little bit higher than that of a Jacoby Brissett, but also there's a little bit of that distraction. He's not going to be the super reliable guy. It's almost... Do you want the higher risk, but also the higher reward? That's going to be Taylor Heinicke. He kind of has a little bit of that magic backyard football feel to him, which is fun to watch. It's more entertaining to watch than Jacoby Brissett, if we're just being honest. With that said, not necessarily what you want from your backup quarterback. Taylor Heineke, going to be interesting to see where he winds up. Obviously, just 1 year with the Chargers since he was traded, I believe, late in the preseason this past year from Atlanta, who had Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix joining the team. Marcus Mariota, he's going to be an interesting one. He played really well in relief of Jaden Daniels throughout the regular season, and he was never bad as a starter. He kind of lacked that upper ceiling potential that we thought he might have coming out of Oregon. Some people have mentioned maybe he goes back to Vegas after he lost the starting job in Tennessee to Ryan Tannehill. A lot of people thought he might have a similar career resurgence to Ryan Tannehill in Vegas overtaking Derek Carr. That never happened. Derek Carr played some very good football under John Gruden, or at least well enough to hold off Mariota. Maybe Mariota heads back to Vegas to finally be reunited with Chip Kelly. I don't know. We'll see. I would assume Marcus Mariota is probably plan B if they can't go get Sam Darnold. We got Drew Lock. Drew Lock, I would say, kind of similar to Taylor Heineke. Not exactly what I want in a backup quarterback. I want somebody who's just going to be able to deliver the ball on time, be accurate. He's not going to be able to make a ton of plays off script, but he's going to take care of the football and do enough to go 500. I think that should be the goal if your backup quarterback is playing any substantial amount. Go 500. Keep your team alive for when the starter gets back. Drew Lock offers a lot higher of a ceiling. There was actually a game where him and Malik Neighbors looked like Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, and they put up 40 plus. With that said, you're also going to have some stinkers where Drew Lock has multiple turnovers. Andy Dalton, another veteran, I think he kind of falls into the Joe Flacco range. I don't think that his ceiling is as high as Joe Flacco, but I think he's still a quality quarterback who, if you need to play and produce offense, you need a spark, he can do that for a couple games, and I think he's going to hang around. He's a guy who, like Flacco, former franchise quarterback, no longer a franchise quarterback or even a starting quarterback, but he still just loves the game. He's going to hang around and make a few million a year to just continue playing the game he loves. We already talked about Justin Fields, and listen, I could do a whole other video. He's awful. Jarrett Stidham, he is what I want from a backup quarterback, that old and reliable, not going to make a ton of plays off script, but he can get the job done, not going to pressure the starter. Joe Flacco, it's going to be interesting to see where he winds up. He's another guy who said he's going to keep on playing till the wheels fall off, and although this season wasn't as magical as it was in Cleveland, he still showed that he can push the ball down the field. He has such a pretty spiral. Jameis Winston, where does he go? Obviously, there's been some talk about the Giants due to his media interaction at Media Row with Saquon Barkley. I actually think that he might be a plan C or D for the Steelers. Mac Jones, another quarterback from that infamous draft class. 5 quarterbacks in the top 15. And it has not gone well for most of them. Mac Jones, though, made a Pro Bowl his rookie year. And I'm taking Mac Jones over Justin Fields. Why? Because Mac Jones has shown that he can be an NFL quarterback. Justin Fields has not. Carson Wentz. I'm a Carson Wentz defender till I die. He looked awful in that Week 18 game. With that said, he was playing with practice squad players. So who knows? If I'm him, I'm going to try and just re-up with Kansas City and continue to just go chase some rings. Jimmy Garoppolo, interesting one. As a backup, he's not always healthy, and he doesn't always take care of the football. So is he really what you want from a backup quarterback? He's made a crap ton of money. We'll see. Case Keenum, I'm expecting him to retire. I think he missed most of this year with an injury. The arm is just not there. It never was great. Mason Rudolph, I think that it's in his and the Steelers' best interest to just reunite at this point. No matter what the Steelers do, they're going to need another guy. Kyle Allen, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields all scheduled to hit free agency. They should bring back Mason Rudolph. Shout out Easton Stick. Cooper Rush, he got screwed by Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Does that mean that he's not going to listen to them and come back for a backup role? Maybe. We'll see. Josh Dobbs, I'm a Dobbs believer till the day I die. Nick Mullins has been in Minnesota for a few years quietly now. Kyle Trask, the guy who I thought was the heir apparent to Tom Brady. Josh Johnson, been around forever. Kyle Allen, reliable backup. Russell Wilson, I still think he played some quality ball. Is he great? No, but you could do a lot worse. CJ Beathard also been in Jacksonville for a while. Finishing it up with some restricted free agents, we got Ritter and Zappi. Tommy DeVito, he will be back in New York. Ignore this. Interesting class.